Alrighty, hello once again, NASCAR fans. Welcome back to another episode of the NASCAR Show on the Grueling Truth. I'm Alex Gray, along here with Michael Klein, who is right now on his way to Daytona. Where are you right now?
Right now, I'm right by Chastain Road, like Ross Chastain. So.
Well, that's ironic.
Point that out. So.
Quite ironic.
But yeah, right now I'm at the point where traffic starts getting backed up.
Yeah, you said you're passing through Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Of course, this time around, we actually have races to preview because the Super Bowl's over, and now it's NASCAR's turn. Which, by the way, there was a couple Super Bowl commercials involving the Daytona 500, which was nice to see. The one where Joe Buck and I feel bad. The other guy's name is eluding me, but like out of nowhere, just a pack of race cars just flying through the football field was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like that. But, I don't get why it got so much hate.
What's that?
I don't really get why it got all the hate it did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought it was funny.
Oh, certainly. So we, before we get to that, we actually do have a few things in the news to discuss. Let's see. This morning, it was announced after he had been inducted into the Hall of Fame, Tony Stewart has partnered up with Monster Games, a former publisher of the NASCAR Heat Games, and I forgot the name of it. It's Tony Stewart's Sprint Car All-Star Racing or something like that. It's going to be released on Valentine's Day. And, it's just a dirt racing game. There's going to be like a career mode and everything, different series, like 3 different series to run in as well. So I'm definitely going to pre-order it. I think it's available for the Xbox One and the PS4.
Yeah, I can't really pre-order it because, I'm going to be away from my Xbox for the next 2 weeks. So.
Right.
Yeah, but as soon as I get home, I'm getting it.
Oh, sure, definitely.
I mean, I've been waiting so long for another good dirt track racing game to come out, especially one with the World of Outlaw sprint cars or the All-Star sprint cars. I think this is actually the first time the All-Star Circuit of Champions has gotten their own video game. I think it's pretty much all been the World of Outlaws up until now.
Yep, Tony Stewart's Sprint Car Racing. Saw the trailer. It looked like that the Chili Bowl was also in there, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looked like it was mainly fantasy tracks except for Eldora. Hopefully they do put in a few more real tracks. I'm not sure how that licensing stuff would go.
Yeah, looking at the trailer once again, 24 tracks, 3 different series. That just saw the Chili Bowl. It'd be cool if, a deep career mode. That's cool that they had, a little career mode for that. It'd be cool if, I don't obviously know the entire driver class, but it'd be cool if maybe they added other guys like Kyle Larson or Christopher Bell in there. And other tracks like...
when I was watching it, I'm pretty sure I saw a classic Steve Kinser car, which, that would be awesome. I mean, I was such a huge Steve Kinser fan growing up. And, considering he drove for Tony, too, it would just kind of make sense. You could almost probably expect to see Donnie Schatz in the game.
Yep. Funny enough, I do have one sprint car diecast of, his name is Danny Lasky, I believe, Bass Pro Shops.
Oh, Danny Lasowski?
Yeah, pardon my mispronunciation there, but yes.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, Danny Lasowski is one of the all-time greats. And, he drove for Tony Stewart for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he pulled off an upset ARCA win at Texas, just because I'm sure that's how a lot of people probably remember him, because I know, honestly, IROC may have been more popular, than World of Outlaws was, since it was so closely associated with NASCAR.
Yeah. And another all-time great, obviously, Steve Kinser. That was a very big dirt racing name as well.
Very big. Probably the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But, I know some people are going to say Donnie Schatz is the GOAT, World of Outlaw. No, don't even fight me on that. It's Steve Kinser. 26 championship, 500-something wins. I mean,
yeah.
How can you compete with that?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, you have Richard Petty in NASCAR and, dirt racing, you have Steve Kinser, practically. He is really a legendary icon when it comes to World of Outlaws racing. I mean, at one point, he even got to run in IROC before it all got shut down. Man, I miss IROC. I really wish they'd bring that back. All right. Let's see. We talked about that. Sticking on to gaming, by the way. NASCAR's iRacing circuit has a new title sponsor in Coca-Cola, replacing Peak. Peak Antifreeze has been there for a while. Obviously, you have iRacing yourself. You have it set up there when I visited your place that one time. So, obviously, it's great to see Coca-Cola continuing their long-lasting support in NASCAR. And
just kind of go into that. What I have with me is the new Coca-Cola Energy. They apparently just came out with this. I've never tried it, so I guess we're going to do a live reaction here.
All righty. Yeah, I've had one too. Those were pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when you mix Coca-Cola and Red Bull.
Yeah.
It's probably the best I would describe it. I remember the old Red Bull Cola. That's kind of what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Cool, because I love that.
Yeah, I've had it too. I thought it was pretty good too. So, heck, I might before work here tonight. I might grab another one myself.
Yeah, and it's actually funny that we bring all that up because I just thought I'm going through Atlanta right now, which is Coca-Cola headquarters.
Yep.
It's weird. Every time I've been through here, I pass by the Coca-Cola Museum because it's like right over an overpass. And yet I've never been. Yeah,
I've seen the Coca-Cola Museum and all that when, again, last time I was in Atlanta was 12 years ago, 2008. That was right before the tornado hit the SEC basketball tournament. And because my dad would take me on business trips because he had no one to look after me. So he would just take me along with him. And I've seen it, but, yeah, I've never gone in it. But next time I go to Atlanta, I really would love to check that out. Because I honestly thought Atlanta was a really nice city. I mean, it really is. I went first time I went to Atlanta was spring of 2006. I went there for the spring tripleheader weekend, the Truck Series, the Busch Series, and unfortunately I never saw the Cup race because it rained out and I had to go back home. Yeah, because I remember we left halfway through the truck race because it was really cold that night, and my brother was not feeling too well. I saw Jeff Burton win the Busch Series race, and then, of course, the Cup Series got moved to Monday. All righty. Let's see. Quite a few things to talk about. A lot of last-minute silly season moves being made as well. We'll get to that. So here, how about this? Of course, the younger audience might be familiar with Barstool Sports. It's Steve Phelps has said that NASCAR extended Barstool deal because they authentically love the sport, and while we never sacrifice our existing fans, the series feels like it can certainly try and bring in new fans. Adam Stern posted that on January 31st, and obviously some people feel different about Barstool Sports, which I can understand, but to be honest, I think this is a really, really good move. A very popular sports network on online and social media attracts the younger audience, and I think it's gonna bring in a new wave of fans for the sport as well.
Yeah, any company that really wants to get involved in NASCAR, if you ask me, is more than welcome. Obviously Barstool is a pretty comfortable company, just with the controversy surrounding, its CEO. But honestly, though, like I said, that doesn't necessarily have to reflect the values of NASCAR fans. So, if they want to get involved in NASCAR, absolutely let them in.
Yeah.
And especially when it's such a vital demographic for the sport, like college-age students. I mean, that's honestly probably who NASCAR needs to start marketing itself more towards, just because, that's the new generation. Obviously, I don't think we're going to get, let's be real, I don't think we're going to get many of these old fans back because, NASCAR has changed a lot. It's had to, but unfortunately, you can't necessarily always go back. And so you're just not going to be able to get all those old fans back. So what you need to do is start focusing on getting the newer ones in. So this is the perfect company to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Iceberg on YouTube released a video yesterday, putting the phrase, and please, you'd have to click on the video and watch it because it puts NASCAR's dead, and it's just, he goes over why so many people on Twitter, because we all know how Twitter is, just like, oh, NASCAR's dying, NASCAR's dead. I feel like if people are saying that, they want it to die because they can be right. The thing is NASCAR been on a decline? Yes. They've gone through a lot of changes, and let's face it, Brian France didn't do that great of a job, but NASCAR now has made a lot of changes, and a lot of good changes. There's a lot of changes this year. Next year, it's going to be a whole new era. New faces, new drivers, new schedule, new everything. I do see NASCAR right now going on a slow resurgence, if you will. I just, NASCAR, yes, they need to figure out a way to attract the younger fans, okay? I left a comment in there, and one of the points that I made is the 90s and 2000s are over, okay? Those days are behind us. We need to look forward to the 2020s and beyond. So this is the future, and it's bright.
Yeah, I like the way the future looks. Obviously, I like, obviously I like the old NASCAR, but, for that, I can go back and watch the old races and just kind of relive that, And what I try to do is I focus on the good things that we have nowadays as well. When you're able to just focus on the positive, you'd be surprised at how much your perception of the sport can change. I mean, I'm sure everybody here who says NASCAR is dying or it's on the down low, it's because they're only choosing to look at the negatives. And you're only going to see those, and you're going to see these negatives in any sport. Let's be real. So, I mean, like I said, it's all just kind of based on perception of the sport.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
if you really sat down and watched and saw what they did, I'm sure everybody could find something about it they like. And if everyone just could just focus on that while trying to fix some of the problems we have, obviously that's going to be very successful in the long run for the sport. Hopefully we can get it back to where it was.
Yeah, obviously it may be tough to get back to where we were, in the late 90s, but still NASCAR can get back up there. Oh gosh, I was going to say something, and once again I have that moment where it's going to come up. But yeah, I think you make a valid point. I think it's all about seeing it in a positive perception. Like right now, NASCAR's been uploading. I know recently they uploaded the entire race of the 2002 and 2003 Daytona 500s, which is nice to look back on. And if you see it in a new set of eyes, I think it's going to really open up for some people. NASCAR is not about making left turns. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, every time I hear someone say that, just start punching them in the throat.
Yeah, it drives you mad after a while. Alrighty. Looking at Adam Stern some more. Speedway Motorsports' bid to bring NASCAR back to Nashville remains at a, quote, the crux of an impasse, keeping the city's MLS team from breaking ground on a stadium. SMI says parcel of land between the stadium and track makes traffic flow nearly impossible. Close proximity of the proposed facility to the racetrack, the group says, makes the flow in and out of the track nearly impossible and creates a potential public safety issue. Oh, man, This really is a bummer because I think a lot of people want NASCAR to go back to Nashville Fairgrounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of them.
You know, I think it'd be cool in the future if somehow this worked out. Imagine the season ending at a track like Nashville Fairgrounds, and then the next week you stay in Nashville and have a banquet right there. You know, that would be a cool idea, but it's a tough situation because obviously they want to build the soccer stadium there, and I could make the joke and say that Nashville Superspeedway is still sitting there, but people want short tracks, and I think that's what people really want. So it's a difficult situation here.
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, like you said, or I guess kind of to go on with what you said there, yeah, race fans want short track racing to get back. Just your normal everyday people, they want what's going to be more successful for their town. And unfortunately, I hate to admit it, soccer is more popular than auto racing. So unfortunately, that's obviously they're all want. And so I think if that would mean, you know, getting rid of the track, as much as I'd say it, I don't think the residents would have a problem with that. You know, because unfortunately, it doesn't seem like people really seem to care about heritage of, you know, classic sporting facilities, you know, including racetracks. And I really wish we could find a way to have them coexist. Hopefully they can, but right now it definitely doesn't look too good.
Yeah, it's not the best situation, but all we can do is hope for the best and really just see what happens at this point, because really it's just hard to tell what's going to happen next there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Speaking of track issues, this is actually Formula One based, but recently, of course, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami hosted the Super Bowl, and Formula One has talked about the idea of running a second U.S. Grand Prix around that area in Miami, around where the stadium is. A lot of people, according to Adam Stern, looks like Miami Gardens residents protested the possible idea of a race there as folks arrived for the Super Bowl. Here's a quote from local resident Karen Hunter Jackson. Said, quote, she's worried about air pollution and described the F1 plan as environmental racism. So obviously some people just don't like the idea of course, the other thing is probably a noise complaint, because I know some people complained about that with Nashville Fairgrounds as well.
Yeah. That's the number one complaint I've heard.
Yeah. It's just, and people are like, yeah, complain about the noise line. Well, look, you chose to live there. Nobody told you to live there. You chose to live there. The track's probably been there longer than where you live, your place of residence. Keep that in mind. So, jeez. I hate to say this. It's hard to understand people.
Yeah. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus. Let's see. Bob Pockers has been putting out some tweets. TMT, assuming that's the Money Team Racing, has applied for a number and has been assigned the number 50 for Cup by NASCAR, but hasn't announced anything as far as if/when it could field a car, and I haven't heard anything about any hirings.
Oh, so it looks like it may actually be happening?
It might be. They applied for a number, so maybe it'll be a part-time Cup entry. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
The Money Team Racing. Let's see. NASCAR Hall of Fame, they just did their past induction ceremony. They also announced that they will induct 3 members per year instead of 5 beginning in 2021. 2 members from a modern era ballot, which is pretty much 1961 to 2021 and beyond. And 1 member from a pioneer ballot, which is way back when. So that's an interesting change. Obviously, next year, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be a notable driver that will be eligible for the Hall of Fame class.
We're also going to have Kenseth and Edwards, I think.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards. Those are some pretty interesting names, and now it's been shortened. This is a quick recap on who got into the class of 2020. Tony Stewart, Joe Gibbs, Waddle Wilson, Buddy Baker, and Bobby Labonte. I think that's kind of cool that Gibbs, Stewart, and Labonte all got in together. I think that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually really awesome.
Yeah,
that's the JGR I grew up with. So
yeah, it's literally like a reunion almost. I mean, I remember very well when the two of them were teammates together, and obviously they've had a lot of success together. And just for them to get elected into the Hall of Fame, I always believe God works in mysterious ways, and that's one of them. Okay, I'm trying to see what else here. A bunch of paint schemes getting revealed. Looks like Ryan Truex posted an Instagram announcement the other day. He's going to be joining Nice Motorsports in the number 40 for 6 races in the Truck Series, so it's good to see him out there racing. Starcom Racing, team partially owned by Derek Cope, which I have to bring up this. They have partnered up with Jacob Companies, and they are doing a bit of a celebration, the 30-year anniversary when Purelator was sponsoring Derek Cope when he won the 1990 Daytona 500.
Yeah, I saw that. I think they're also teaming up with Rick Ware Racing.
Yep, they are teaming up with Rick Ware as well.
So yeah, it's a pretty cool deal.
Let's see here. We'll get to class in ARCA momentarily. Let's see here. Jeff Gordon and Rob Gronkowski they were on a cruise ship for the whole Super Bowl since Fox was hosting it. And the cruise ship had a go-kart track. So they made a bet saying 3 laps, the loser comes out of retirement. Gronkowski ended up beating Gordon. So there has been rumors circulating that Jeff Gordon could run the Xfinity race in Martinsville, which it would be great to see him back on the track as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's probably just a stupid bet they made. Not gonna pop through on it, but we can hope. I'd honestly like to see him run the truck race at Eldora.
Oh, I would love that. I really would. I'd like to see Gordon. I would love to see this. Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., and Tony Stewart run the truck race at Martinsville. Do you realize how much publicity the Truck Series could get from those 3 drivers running?
Inject that into my veins right now.
What's that?
Inject that into my veins.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's see. Trying to find what else there is. Let's see. The Daytona 500, pacing forward another grandstand sellout for the Daytona 500. It'll be the 5th straight time it has achieved this feat. So that's great news to hear with the Daytona 500. Besides that, I think I've caught up on all the different news there is. We can go ahead and start touching into the races now. We'll talk about the ARCA Daytona race and the Busch Clash. I'm trying to find the entry list for the ARCA Daytona race because I think there were 33 cars entered. But unfortunately, I lost it as of right now. Let's see. Natalie Decker also revealed her paint scheme that she'll run in the ARCA Daytona race. She's driving for Ken Schrader's team.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I think a picture. Yeah, I think a picture just posted on Twitter.
Is it any good?
Yeah, it's a nice looking paint scheme. It's got Fury Race Cars and N29 Capital as the sponsors on that. Oh, here we go. Okay, 2020 Lucas Oil 200 driven by General Tire entry list. I did not know Racing Reference posted entry lists. Okay. Let's see some notables here. Haley Deegan, obviously running her first full season in ARCA, driving the number 4 for DGR Crosley. Eric Caudell in the 7 for his own team. Benny Chastain. What's that?
Helping him out this week.
Oh, yeah. You are helping him out, aren't you?
Yep.
Alrighty. Let's see. Drew Dollars entered the 15 for Venturini. Tanner Gray in the 17 for DGR. Riley Herbst in the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Other notables, Gustine in the 32 for Wintron. Thad Moffitt driving for DGR Crossing in the 46. Natalie Decker, as I mentioned, in the 52. Dave Matter, the 3rd in the 63. Scott Melton in the 69 for Bill Kimmel. And Bobby Gerhardt is not going to run this race because I believe he actually suffered a heart attack recently. So wishing him a best and speedy recovery, obviously. Yep. But, as of right now, we currently have 33 cars entered. So that's going to be a pretty decent-sized field for the ARCA race at Daytona, actually.
Yeah, last year I think they got like 20-something. So we're definitely way up from that, which is a good sign. There's a bunch of teams, I think, who are entering extra cars. I think DGR is fielding one more than they did. I think Chad Bryant has an extra one entered. Some of the smaller teams do, I know. Wayne Peterson, I think, has Con Nicolopoulos and Tim Richmond.
Yep. Yeah, that's one thing that I was kind of hoping when NASCAR bought in ARCA was that we would see more entries in across ARCA, the East and the West. Hopefully we get more drivers running in it too, get bigger fields. I think that'll help a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I know this is a little bit of an early prediction. Obviously, this race is very, very unpredictable, as we've seen in the past. Who are some early favorites for this race, you think?
Well, I kind of have to say Eric Caudell, since I work for him.
Yeah.
But say I were just sitting in the stands, I'd probably have to go for maybe somebody like Riley Herbst, just because he's probably one of the more experienced guys who is going into this one.
Yeah, I think if you threw in some early favorites, I'd throw in Herbst. Michael Self, he's in the race.
Yeah. Also kind of got to throw my boy Brett Holmes in there.
Yep, Brett Holmes, got to throw him in there too.
Yeah, Brett Holmes has been one of my best friends in the ARCA Garage since I started working there. He works his ass off every week, and he still hasn't got to win the show for it. I think he's going to get that done this season. Check that off.
Yeah, definitely. I think Brett Holmes will be a driver to watch for in ARCA, certainly. So, and that's something, too, that I want to cover more on this show is ARCA, because now it's into NASCAR, and they merged that in K&N. Definitely want to follow that more. Of course, I think a lot of people are going to be watching Haley Deegan because obviously this is going to be her first time racing on the 2.5-mile track. So I'm very intrigued to see how she handles that. So it's going to be a don't know if I'd put her in the favorites for a win, just because this is her first time out there. Oh, yeah.
But I'll tell you somebody who I noticed on the entry list who I think could be a threat is Dominique Van Weerden. Now, she raced a few years ago for Rhett Jones, and she was actually really good. She was getting poles, running consistently in the top 5, and then funding ran dry, and she was out of a ride. But honestly, if she had kept with it, she absolutely, I think, would have been a winner by now. So you definitely want to watch out for her, not only in this race, but this season, if she's doing anything more.
Okay, yeah, Dominique Van I can't pronounce her last name. I'm sorry.
Van Weerden.
Van Weerden. Okay, Dominique Van Weerden. Okay.
Yeah, she's Canadian, so.
Okay. Yeah, she's driving for Mark Retty, I think.
Yep, Rhett Jones.
Okay, cool. Forgot to mention David Gravel, driving for, I believe, GMS. I forgot to mention that.
That's going to be fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of the dirt guys getting up there. I'm going to be watching him racing at Volusia and at Daytona this week, so that'll be fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to be going to Volusia just about every night. So every night I can, at least.
And one last driver. This is a weird name to throw out there, but he did finish second in this race a couple years ago. Willie Mullins. He only attempts this race in the ARCA season, but I mean, if he stays out of trouble, he'll be up there. He's actually running both this and the one at New Smyrna. Okay.
Yeah, he has a super speedway and a short track car, so he's bringing them both down.
Yep, Mullins makes some part-time attempts. It'll be interesting to see how he does, and obviously how many cars will be left standing at the checker flag, because the ARCA race can get a little crazy. But I think it's going to be a fun race. Yeah. It's going to be a good race, and I think it's going to be something
I would
fun.
Personally love to see. I would just love to see Willie Mullins run well this week, because I honestly think he has the absolute sweetest-looking car out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is one of the most underrated paint schemes in ARCA, if you ask me.
Oh, Mullins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like his number 3 Ford. I think it looks really nice.
Yeah, and just the way the yellow fits in with the orange and the blue and white, and just on that Ford body, it just looks so mean.
All righty, so we covered that, and the other race that we can cover as well is the Busch Clash at Daytona, which I'm really thrilled that actually, it's called the Busch Clash again, because it just, you can bring back the old school NASCAR vibes with that name, so I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. 18 cars are entered. 20 were eligible. Daniel Suarez and Daniel Hemrick were eligible. They're not going to be entering in the Clash. Hemrick does not have a ride. He'll be running most races for Junior and Xfinity. And Suarez is going to drive for Gaunt Brothers, but they have elected to prepare for the 500 instead. Let's see here. The drivers in this race: Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Eric Jones, Joey Logano, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Jimmy Johnson, last year's winner, and Alex Bowman. 18 cars in this list. Obviously, some heavy favorites have got to be the Penske cars, because they've just, in recent memory, have shown so much power at the super speedways.
And you know what? I've been to Atlanta several times now. This is just the first time I've ever noticed. I drive right by the Turner building.
Oh, Turner Broadcasting?
Yeah, Turner Broadcasting. I've never noticed it before until now. Because I see the building with the Cartoon Network and the CNN logos on there.
Yeah, I've been by that building a few times. I know what you mean. I've walked past CNN's building going to an Atlanta Thrashers hockey game as a kid, when obviously they were still in Atlanta. They're now the Winnipeg Jets. But, God, Phillips Arena is a nice arena, I'll tell you. It's got the huge Atlanta wording in front of the building. It's really nice.
All right, back to NASCAR.
Yep, that was a quick intermission. And now we're going to talk about the Busch Clash at Daytona. That'll be on Sunday, February 9th. All right, you got any favorites in this race at all?
I kind of want to go with Larson, just from the momentum he's on with his dirt racing, and especially how he closed out the last season in NASCAR. I think he's definitely going to be one of the favorites over all Speed Weeks. And just the fact that he's also going to keep running the dirt car this weekend, I think, is also going to help. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to be running Lisa.
Okay. For me, Yeah, I think Larson's definitely a favorite. I'm interested to see how the Chevys will do with that new look Camaro. To see if, 'cause obviously, when it comes, especially to qualifying, those cars have speed. They are fast. But let's see if they can apply that into the race. So that's what I'm interested to look on about there. Let's see. If I were to put down a couple favorites, Ryan Blaney, Keselowski, Logano, just because, again, Penske has a very strong super speedway program. I'll throw in a couple surprises. William Byron, Alex Bowman. Don't count out the Hendrick guys, especially if all four of them work together. So that's what I would have as potential favorites.
Oh, and how about some of those bold comments from Kurt Busch on the new Chevy nose?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Toyota's dominance is over.
Wow, Kurt Busch just said that?
He said that about a week ago, I think.
Okay. Because I know he was talking about the new Chevy body. I didn't realize he had said that.
Yeah. Who knows how his brother's going to react to that or think to that.
That's interesting. That's a very, very big statement for Busch. Coming off, I'd say he was probably one of the best performing Chevys last year in terms of his consistency. The win at Kentucky, that's a big call out to Toyota. So I think Chevy perhaps is ready to make a statement this season, if you will.
Have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's interesting that they actually made that body change a year before the new car comes out, because I just didn't think that they would have made a change like that. You would assume, well, you got 1 year until the next gen car comes out. Obviously, Chevy. I think Chevy's looking at this going, okay, we're way behind Ford and Toyota. We need to win. We need to get up there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, I think you could take a lot from, messing with the cars now and take that over to the new one. Because honestly, the new bodies for the next-gen car honestly aren't radically different, from what we have now. I mean, I think the biggest changes are going to be, aero package, motors, and the wheels. I think those are going to be the biggest changes you see. But when it comes to the body style, that's not changing, radically. It's enough that's noticeable, but, at the same time, it's still probably not enough that you couldn't take stuff from the current car and use that to see if you can get an advantage on the competition for the next car.
Right. Yeah, I'm interested to see when the 2021 models will come out at some point this season. I do apologize if there's any background noise. There's work going around my apartment complex.
You're good.
Like literally, like right in front of my window. They like set it up there. I'm just like, why? But yeah. So let's see. We've covered that. We covered ARCA. Is there anything else that we potentially need to cover, Michael?
Yeah, I do just want to point this out. This morning on my way to Daytona, I decided to stop in Knoxville at Trevor Bain's shop, and of course he was there, and he is such a cool dude. I mean, he was willing to talk with us, and he took an interest in, obviously, my dirt racing stuff, so I guess he's friends with Swindells. So if you're in the Knoxville area, definitely go check out Mahalo Coffee Roasters.
Yeah, I think, definitely next time if I ever go to Knoxville, I would love to check out Trevor Bain's coffee shop, honestly.
It's right off the interstate, too, so it's not that much of a detour.
That's perfect location.
Yeah, you get off, you go like a mile down the road, and there it is.
Awesome. Yeah, I knew you brought that up, and I'm glad you brought that up, too, so I'm curious, how long have you been on the road now at this point? I would say at least 8 or 9 hours, right?
Yeah. Let's see, I got on the road, I think, at 6:45. So, yeah, about 9 hours.
You got on the road right
and
about.
I still got 6 hours to go.
Mhm. Yeah, I work a third shift job, so obviously you left right about when I went to bed, sadly. So. Alrighty. So next week we'll obviously talk about the ARCA race and.
Actually, something that we do need to bring up, and I know this probably isn't what we want to talk about, but unfortunately this week John Andretti did pass away, losing his battle with colon cancer.
Yeah, I forget. That happened like the day after we did our show, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that up. I do apologize.
Yeah, but and I remember seeing him at Lawrenceburg Speedway just all the time, and it's going to be so weird, not having him there. I mean, he was always so willing to be with everybody, and he was so invested in the dirt program for his son's team. He's definitely going to be missed. And, honestly, I still constantly associate him with the 43 car because he's the one who was driving it when I was growing up.
Yeah. Obviously, when I started watching, he was no longer in the 43. I actually got it in Atlanta Motor Speedway when I was there in 06. It's a big poster right here above my TV here in my apartment, and it's from 2006. One side had the Ford drivers from the Busch and Truck, and I know the other side has Cup. I have the Busch and Truck side showing, and, of course, John Andretti's number 10 Ford that he drove for PPC Racing's on there. I'm trying to remember what the sponsor was. RVs.com, Freedom Roads, Camping World. So I've actually played as that car in NASCAR 07 as well. So, obviously, though, I've enjoyed watching Andretti race. I went back and watched when he won the 1997 Pepsi 400, his first career win. And Kelly Yarbrough's first and only win as a car owner as well, the number 98 RC8 Ford. And, obviously, Andretti's such a huge name. Very saddened. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Andretti's family, the Andretti organization, friends at this time. And as the hashtag has gone around, be sure to check it for Andretti.
All right, so I think that's about it.
All righty. All right, next week we will talk about the ARCA race at Daytona. We'll also talk about the Clash. And finally, we will preview the first points race weekend of the NASCAR season. We'll look forward to the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and obviously the Daytona 500. It's coming very soon. The 2020 season is about to kick off. The off season's over. Step aside NFL. It's time for NASCAR. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
And also,
and I will actually be at the track probably when we do that. So I'll see if I can get us some interviews.
Oh, that'd be great if you can bring some people on. Keep me listed on that.
Yeah.
All righty, cool. All right, Michael, thank you so much for coming out once again. I hope you have fun down there in Daytona. I'll definitely be obviously following all the action on my computer and TV and all that fun stuff. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's edition of the NASCAR Show on the Grueling Truth. From Michael Klein and myself, Alex Gray, we're signing off, and we'll see you next time.